to the Man United agenda. This is your Premier League reaction show where Manchester United beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-0 at Molineux with Mason Greenwood getting that winner. So guys, join us. Hello everyone and welcome to the Man United agenda. This is Solo 7 alongside Amonde and Talk MU. Hello guys, how you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Happy for the 3 points.
Very happy. You guys obviously brilliantly done the watch along there, and now we're going to indulge more about the result, the game, what went right, what went wrong. I watched bits and pieces of the game, but for me, kicking off, we're going to look at the team selection. We're going to ask you guys how you think the game went, what players stood out more for you, and can we learn by some of these mistakes we're actually physically making? Because there's a lot of mistakes today in the first half. As the game went by, second half, we looked a bit better. For me, I always say game is of two halves with Manchester United. You don't know what half you're going to get Manchester United at. But as always, Mason Greenwood came up trumps and got that goal and gave us all 3 points. Whether or not it was a free kick, VAR came back. VAR said it weren't a free kick. So listen.
It's irrelevant, that question, to be fair. It's you know what? Yeah, it's a talking point for Match of the Day. Match of the Day 2, should I say. When was it Match of the Day? Okay, yeah, Match of the Day 2. But you know what? For me, Mason, again, he's just so... He's like a radar, that kid. He's like he's got a laser. Those angles that he puts them balls in from is amazing. In terms of any standout performances, David De Gea is one. Mason, obviously, because he got the goal. He was in a good position to receive the ball and worked well to get the shot off. Apart from that, the only other player really that I would sort of point a finger at and say they did well would be Pogba again. I thought Pogba put himself about. He was trying his best, but you could see that the like we're pointing back to what Monday was saying last season about the lack of patterns of play. This must be so frustrating for the likes of Pogba and Bruno, because they're having to work really hard to find space, get themselves into positions, but so deep. It must be really frustrating because they're thinking, you know what, why am I in this position? If I'm playing a midfield position, a creative midfielder, and I find myself in my own half of the pitch, near to the goal, trying to push the ball out, you're thinking, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be further up. There should be somebody else doing this to provide me with the ball, so I can then feed either the wide player or the forward player. And that's...
What I saw again, and it's a frustration. Obviously, we've got 3 points. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not doom. I'm not gloom. Monday got it spot on with his score result, 1-0. See the game out. Unfortunately, it weren't 1-0. See the game out. It was 1-0 squeak bum time, and that's how the game was panned out throughout the whole period of the 95 minutes that was played. But I can take some positive away from it, and the reason I can take the positive. Real champion, when it comes to the Premier League, it's a hard fight battle. Some games, it's not going to look pretty on the eye. It's not going to look pretty on the eye. Some players may not turn up at all in those games, but scraping those 1-0 win. Under Ferguson, we used to do that a lot. Sometimes we didn't play well. We didn't turn up. Today was a game which probably was one of our worst games I've ever seen us played. But we got a 1-0 win. I'm ecstatic about the 1-0 win.
You know what?
Go on, Amanda, go on.
Yeah, look, it's all right. We won 1-0. Now, I think that's based on the quality of players that we have. With Manchester United, we've got a huge wage bill. We can attract better players. And I think it's based on that. But over the season, you can't rely on having better players to beat teams, because there's 4, 5, 6, 7 teams out there who have equally as good players as us. And some teams have better strategies than us. So you have to have a combination of the two. We've got good players for sure, but we don't have a good system or good brand of football. We're struggling to break teams down. As Rives was saying earlier, what we're saying, we still got an issue with the midfield. It's going to take a long time to sort of solve this puzzle. So, for example, we didn't have a lot of possession today because Pogba was coming deep. He's playing with Fred in the midfield as a 2. And Fred is wasted. It's wasted that position. Because Pogba's the one who's having to play Fred balls over the top for Bruno. So Bruno wasn't coming deep to pick up the ball so we can build as a team. Bruno's always looking to get in behind and make that second run. Do you see what I'm saying? So we had a goal disallowed in the first half by Pogba playing the first time ball over the top into that channel, which he went on to. Unfortunately, he was offside. And that was how we were trying to break them down. We weren't trying to build as a team. So with that ball, if that ball doesn't come off, they're coming at us again, over and over again. So I want to see an identity for Ollie, because at the moment, 2.5 years in, and however long it is, we still don't have an identity, and we're still struggling to break teams down. Last week against Southampton, we had to force a goal. Today we were under pressure. They were all over us. They had a lot of shots. They were breaking on us, running at us. Granted, the defense done okay, but we were really fortunate not to concede a goal, especially with the double save at the end by De Gea there. When once again Varane, who made a debut, allowed the guy to jump over him. Not even there's another zonal corner where he's marking zonally, but the guy didn't get a run on him. The guy was just on him, but leaned all over him and got the shot off and the header off. So overall, we might have got the 3 points, but there's still an inquest, still an inquiry about how we're playing our football. But the one good thing, we've got Ronaldo coming in, and Ronaldo, I'm sure, will demand us to play a better brand of football. He won't be happy with this.
Again, go on, Rise, and then I'll hit my comment.
I was going to say there's a pattern emerging here, and it's been happening for quite a while. Is if a team sits back and and they don't press us and afford us some space, then it's easier for us. So it seems to me now that teams are working out that, wait a minute, all we've got to do here is put three players up to press, and then put everybody else to sit, and that's it. Man United are stuffed because we cannot learn how to play the ball in front of teams, i.e., play the ball quickly and move into space behind. It's a simple thing. And what worries me is the fact that is Ollie failing to identify what teams are going to do against us and planning for that.
So again, this is where I was going to come in, but it's good way you brought that in, Talk, because that was what I was going to say. Looking again today, same thing with Southampton, watching a game, there's far too many spaces around. Our midfield players, they're not tight enough in midfield. There were certain times where Wolves were coming at us where they've got 7-8 men on the ball. But when they break so quick and so rapid, there's a massive gap within that sort of midfield areas where players are not tracking their man back. Also, Fred today, I don't know what Fred was doing today. We'll talk about Fred later on, but it's astonishing me right now seeing how we got ripped apart first half, completely ripped apart, and the manager is sitting on the bench, not acknowledging what's going on, not standing up, giving his authority to say, guys, what is going on? Why is Traore? Why are we making the guy look like he's a cross between Ronaldo and Messi? We made him look that good today, but at the same time, we've got to give Wolves credit because they're stuck at their gun and they were fantastic. Also, you've got to remember the old regime with Wolves, they had a pattern of play, they had a style of play. This manager has come in now and it's almost elevate them even more so where they're playing a bit more fluent football. All they needed today is a better striker, and United would have lost 2 or 3-0 or 2 or 3-1. Would have lost again today if they had better players within it. But for me, it goes back sluggish play. Watching a game, we need 3 or 4 touches on the ball before we give it to our own players. Luke Shaw looked heavy today. Look at he's breathing, he's puffing. He couldn't keep up with play. Wan-Bissaka, apart from the last-ditch sort of goal clearance he did, again, and the header right at the back post towards the end of the game. that's about all I can say to you about our wing backs today. Harry Maguire, I can't say Harry Maguire did anything wrong, because Harry Maguire was just Harry Maguire today. Varane making his debut, like what Amanda said, let the player got a bit better on him. But again, you can't fault him. He's making his debut at Man United. Right now, it's that midfield area that's letting us down right now at Manchester United. But I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to get doom and gloom. We got 3 points today. Yeah. It can only improve.
I mean, I'll accept the 3 points, and you know what? There's no doom, but there is a gloom, and that gloom is exactly what we've just been talking about: is our inability to identify, especially from Ollie's point of view and the coaching staff, to be able to figure out this midfield puzzle that we have right now. We don't have a number 6 apart from Matic. Who are the? Donny van der Beek. He's probably, after Matic, he's for me, he's probably the cleverest footballer that we've got. So why are we not, in coaching, identifying that and saying to him, if he's not going to do it with one of the youngsters, like I was mentioning Galbraith or Garner, as somebody else mentioned, if he's not going to do it with them and give them the opportunity to shine and make a name for themselves, then at least get somebody else in who's going to be able to absorb what you're trying to get them to do in training and go out there and do it and put it into practice on the pitch. That's a big worry.
Yeah, it's 100% here. And also, for me, again, we got some comments about Fred in the chat at the moment. But Fred, for me, I always back Fred. I always defend Fred. But today, I honestly cannot say I can back Fred or even defend Fred whatsoever. I thought Traore absolutely made him look like a Sunday League footballer.
Yeah, there was an incident in the first half where Fred was flapping a bit. But once again, I think that comes down to us giving the ball away in certain areas where they can come and attack us. That's what the manager set up to do. As soon as we pumped it into midfield, this is why we had to bypass the midfield and play balls over the top. As soon as we played it into midfield, they were closing us down and then breaking on us. And when you got Traore, it doesn't matter who you are in world football. When Traore is running at you, you're going to have a difficult time. The main thing is to stand up and see him off into the wide areas or into the corners away from danger. But unfortunately today, a couple of times, Fred, he made a few errors. There's one time he passed the ball to the Trincao, whatever, the Barcelona Loney.
Yes. And he was fantastic today. He was brilliant today.
But the thing is, you have to remember that Wolves, as good as they were, like breaking on us, it's a tactical thing here. If we give the ball away, all right, they will break on you. This is what I say. This is what they're set up to do. So they know our weakness is we can't retain the ball. So if we continuously keep the ball away, they will break on us, and then we're back on the back foot all the time. But I didn't see them in open play. They didn't really get beyond us. So the defense is still legit. It's still, there's no concerns there. It's just about keeping possession of the ball. Because when you got possession of the ball, that's the best defense there is, because they can't score. So what we were doing, we were struggling to get out of our half, like the last 20 minutes at Southampton last week, struggling to get out, struggling to push out, because we can't retain the ball. I feel Bruno needs to come back and not come back into midfield, play a bit deeper, stop getting ahead of the play, because we can't always pick you out. And then we're struggling because there's a huge gap where we can't play between the lines to get to reach you. Only Pogba's got that sort of ball. We saw that with the 5 assists or whatever we've had recently, and even today as well. He was providing a couple of passes like that. But Fred is the issue, because Fred is the issue there, because he's not able to provide that. If that's the football we're playing, then Fred's all wrong for you, because he's not able to provide that sort of passing.
There is another option. There is another problem that we have here as well. Is what you just pointed something out, Monday, about the opposition, which is we're raggedy in that midfield, and they're well drilled. That's not a good matchup. Raggedy play, right? Raggedy play against a well drilled team is not a good combination. Yeah. And
So, guys, quickly, if you're watching the contents, please like, please share, please subscribe. We're in the Man United agenda, and remember tonight at 9 p.m. we'll be doing a almost like a match of the day weekly roundup on FTV Sports, which is we are part of as well. Also, guys, remember we are giving you away a free signed Bruno Fernandes shirt once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So all you need to do is subscribe to the United Agenda and win yourself a signed Bruno Fernandes football shirt once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So, guys, before we go and we carry on, we're going to look at the team in a minute. But before we do that, can we go through some of the comments quickly?
Okay, yeah. Hi, Anthony Herbert, Arsenal fan.
Hello,
says fluke that game. Anyway, big up, lads. Thanks a lot. No points, no goals. Jem says, worrying for Wolves. They had the most shots at goal this season. This isn't happening for them. They got their main striker back this season, haven't they? But I think they'll be all right. They look good.
They'll be fine. To be honest with you, like I said, if Wolves today on their day just sort of hit it in a little different direction, in sort of cornerish, they would have beaten us today easily.
Jem's also saying she thinks Wolves through the game. They were the better team. They had so many open chances. It was them missing not good defending by Man United. Hi, Reese, Liverpool fan. How you doing? Says yo. And James, Andy says James wasn't in the game. He thought I agree. Came off after 55 minutes, which is good. Not after 80 minutes, like Ollie's been doing. James is saying Pogba, Bruno, Greenwood, Sancho. That should never have been a struggle and getting outshone by Traore. We're all right, Reese. How are you? No offense, but Fred is shite. He's saying. Reese, Pogba hit a beautiful VVD long pass to Bruno in the box. Bruno fluffed it.
Brilliant pass. Brilliant pass.
Good observation there by Jems. Reese is saying my nan could play better than Fred.
Yeah.
Reese is also saying Traore is a baby oil merchant. Good evening, Ole. How you doing, Ole?
Hello, right?
He says, would you have been happy if things had been the other way around? That goal shouldn't have stood. Very unsportsmanship.
Let's go back to that. Well, you say that, but VAR looked at it twice and they gave it. So if he went down, and it's almost like what everyone's saying, if he went down directly after the challenge, it would have been a free kick. But the problem is, it's almost like he got hit, he then turned around, looked at the referee and Pogba, and then he decided to go down. So sportsmanship, we play on. It's VAR say it's a goal, let's move on.
Reese is saying, don't worry, you guys have got Cristiano next game.
We have against Newcastle.
Sam, Spurs for Life, how you doing? Go check out Paxton Road, the best Spurs channel out there. He's saying Ronaldo will make everyone at United improve, even Fred. So our standards will get better.
Thank you for that, Sam.
Yeah, big up, Sam.
Reese is saying hi to Gemma. And Andy says, anyway, Soto, how was your 5-course meal at home with Fred the other night? Inside joke. Inside joke.
Fred.
Sorry, one more by Ole. He said, we aren't talking about VAR. I'm asking, would you have been happy if it had been the other way around? They put the ball out for you guys in the first half. Okay.
Yeah.
Sportsmanship. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying, but for me, I'll be upset, to be fair. I honestly will be upset because you don't want that to go against your team, do you? So because you don't want to go against your team, you feel hard done by. So yeah, I get what you're saying there, mate. 100% with you.
That's all the comments.
Yeah. But thanks to the comments, guys. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing. We're the Man United Agenda. And remember, you win yourself a signed Bruno Fernandes shirt once we hit 1,000 subscribers, where we will put your name in a hat and then we'll do a draw live on the United Agenda. Thank you so much, Reese, for that. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's go to the team lineup here quickly. This whole thing where we're going in and we're talking about the David De Gea today, double save, fantastic. What I don't like with the commentary when I was listening to Jamie Carragher, Alisson made something very similar to this in the first game where he made the double save and apparently it was world class and the player hit the ball on target. Everything was perfect. De Gea did it and apparently it was a missed opportunity and De Gea didn't really get praise from Carragher. But listen, he's a Liverpool fan. I don't expect much. Wan-Bissaka, for me, guys, I'm just running through because you guys did a watch along. You guys can tell me anything that you believe you would have changed within it. This is totally different from my lineup, what I did on the previous show. You had, obviously, we had our new signing making his debut. We had Maguire, we had Luke Shaw, Pogba, Fred. James was a surprise for me. I didn't think James would have featured. Sancho, yeah, and everyone else is. For me, I would sit there and look at and said would feature. So the lineup, in a way, was a very attacking, because when I saw the lineup, I thought it was going to sort of be like a 4-3-3 when I first saw the lineup.
That's how Sky Sports had it on their graphics. They had Anchorman Fred and Bruno and Pogba as number 8s, kind of, as a 4-3-3 like that. But it didn't turn out that way. It seemed like Fred was deepest, with Pogba was kind of sitting almost close to him, and Bruno was miles off the pace, almost like looking for the ball over the top, like a second striker, you know?
Yeah. Guys, it pains me. So obviously we all sitting here saying how bad and how terrible sort of Fred was. But really and truly, how terrible was Dan James?
We've talked. Do you want to take that one?
Well, I mean, look, Dan James he's got a set of skills that we can actually make the most of, in my opinion. But for whatever reason, it's just not happening for him, is it? He's either not listening to what's being told to him in coaching, or the coaching is not being given him to him in the right way. They're not telling him the right things to do. Because there was opportunity today, like I said earlier in the game on Monday, remember, saying, look, we should be. Why are we not having the players like Dan James who've got a threat? You need to use him to make the Wolves players make a decision. So you put him out there on the whiteboard, you give him the ball with the instruction, look, right, just hold, get the ball, and then, right, slowly move with the ball. Get them to move out towards you. Get them to come towards you. You then release the ball and you then go. Then they've got a decision to make. If you continually just let him try and do what everybody knows that he's not good at, which is you give him the ball and then he's just going to try and run down a blind alley and then try and put a crossing. It's all right. You've got his number on that. You've got his number because you know they're expecting that, so they're planned for that. So then you've got to have a plan B, haven't you? And you see that they planned for that, and we ain't got that. So I think Dan James, whether he's good enough to stay at the club again, I think that's an open debate, and we need. I think
it comes down to coaching with Dan James. Right, he's got exceptional pace, for example, but his link-up play is really poor. So the way he's going to beat players is by link-up. It would be easy triangle, like both into feet, give and go, that sort of thing, and then get the space to cross or be effective like that. But at the moment, he hasn't got that ability. He's too like he can't. He's got like tunnel vision. He's an instructions guy. He doesn't do anything like with imagination or a little pop into feet and go, that sort of thing. He needs to improve his game in that respect to be a much better player. And if he does, with the pace that he has, he'd be more effective. But at the moment, he's lacking that. Whether it's confidence or just that maybe he hasn't got the ability, but he needs to be coached.
Part two of what I was just saying there on Monday, we can lead into from what you've just said, and that is, if that was a pattern of play that we were working on in training, I think he would be much more effective. If it was a case of in training, he was told, look, you've got that wing, you've got the pace, and the pattern of play is it gets pushed out from the back to the midfield man squirts it wide, then the midfield man makes a run for Dan James as an overlap. Then Dan James, he receives the ball, but he quickly releases it back in a forward pass, and then skins his man and he's gone, and then receives the ball.
With Dan James though, again, Sam Spurs for Life just asking Dan James or Anthony Martial, who is more effective for Man United. I honestly would sit there and I would say, I'll go as far as say, oh wow, it's a hard one, isn't it? No, it's not really. Martial will be more effective, and the reason why Martial will be more effective is because Martial got something about him. Dan James run with his head down. With Martial, he looks around, he looks for players. He may not make the right decisions at the right time, but he makes decision. With Dan James would heads down, run, and literally, all he will do then is literally not looking up at any place in the box, and he just passes the ball in. And also with it as well, when you look at the passes, they don't really truly beat the first man, do they? They don't literally go up; they literally go on the floor. So you're not targeting anyone really and truly with Dan James. Where Martial will cut inside, and Martial's looking for someone. Because all Martial has to do is just drop a shoulder, and then all of a sudden he's lost his man.
I think Martial is more effective for us. I think Martial is clearly a much better player. He's got more imagination, and once he squares up, he likes to get the ball and square up the defender, and he can go either side. He likes to play the ball into a man's feet, the give and go. get the return. He's really effective like that. And I think if you really, when he's buzzing and on his game, you've seen what he can do. But maybe he's more, like both of them need more confidence. But Martial clearly got more to his game, got much more in his locker than Dan James, who's a bit one-dimensional.
Yeah. See, again, Sam Special Life, again, another great comment. But for me, with that now, it's going to be Dan James would be a game where I would probably put him up in sort of like a Burnley, play him against Burnley, play him against one of those clubs like a Newcastle or something like that, because playing him against Wolves attack, they got pace. They got pace. They got something about them. But when you play against a team where you're trying to break down a team, he's got no knowledge, no understanding. He can't really beat. He don't really beat him, man. He just got the run on him, and that's about it. He can't cross the ball in. But those players would be terrified of him coming towards him. Just to add, like we saw with Bruno, he times his run. In no way is Bruno as quick as Dan James. No way is he as quick as Dan James. But his runs are more intelligent and effective. So when he's making his runs, he goes to the man, he's going to get in behind, and he's usually in goal. If James had that ability to time his runs with his pace, how effective would that be? And I think James would be more effective against teams that come at us, teams that sit back, and you give him the ball and they've got doubled up on him, he can't do anything. So I think he's more effective. Like Real Sociedad, we played him last year, they pushed the high line and we get balls over the top. That's where James would be effective. But his off the ball movement, again, needs more work, because with all that pace and everything else, he should be coached more to have better off the ball movement so we can get him behind. As my example being Bruno. His off the ball movement, his off the ball runs, he always gets in. Twice he was in today. But he also he reminds me so much of a Jamie Vardy when Jamie Vardy first came, sort of like for the first couple of years before now. Jamie Vardy understand and got a better gameplay now than before, because Jamie Vardy used to be all those balls go over the top for him to run onto.
But Jamie Vardy, Jamie Vardy, the only same thing there is they got pace, but Jamie Vardy is a terror. He will bug the defender. He step on his toes. He pinches nipples. He do all kinds of. He does. This is a fact. He does all this, and because he knows how to get the best out of his game to terrorize people. James ain't doing that. James hasn't got that sort of character.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a. You know what? I think, like I said, you know what. If the coaching side of things is not our strongest point at this time, and there's not really much is going to change on that front, then we have to look at an alternative, which would obviously, if he's fit, Martial. Simple as that.
Yeah,
I think the main issue from today is that we do need to sign a player who's going to be a first team dead cert playing in the midfield as a number 6, as you keep saying, James, and who can retain the ball, who's good under pressure, can play that progressive pass, can also play it into feet, get the return, and control the game, dictate the game. Sort of Carrick mode, Paul Scholes mode. So it doesn't have to be a tackler. Like I say, I keep saying it doesn't. Everyone say, "Oh, Ndidi or Rice."
No, I
don't believe we need that player. Needs to be a tackler. Just needs to be able to sit in front of the defense. Because as we saw today, teams cannot play through you if you're positioned correctly. This is why Donny van de Beek, I feel, can do that job perfectly well. He did it. Yeah. He covered when Frankie de Jong left the Ajax. Donny van de Beek filled in as the deep line player who would start attacks. If you look at their philosophy, he would start attacks in the back three and build it up and bring the ball out of play. So there's a player there.
Yeah, after that dismal display though today, like I said, it's a dismal display, but I'm taking nothing away from it because it's 3 points. But surely Ole now needs to reassess the situation, and then coming into the Newcastle game, think about who is going to be his number 1 midfield player. Is it going to be Fred? Is it going to be Scott? Is it going to be Donny? Need to make a decision and stick to that decision and play the guy, whoever it is, consistently throughout for the rest of the season.
This is why I'm tuning into on Tuesday, because I want to see if we, on Tuesday night, I'm tuning into the transfer window show because I want to see if we get a player in.
I was just going to say exactly that on Monday. Is more importantly than that for me, Solo, is the board, Murto, and whoever else, Ole, identified a player. They obviously know who they want. They've got to make now a push because it's quite clear from Ole's point of view. You know, I mean, you look at all you got to do is look at Ollie and Michael Carrick and co. stood on the sidelines there in deep conversation. You know, and look at Ollie's face during the game. Even once we'd scored, he was not happy one little bit. And I guarantee you, when he went in that changing room, he would have I don't know what's happened there, but something was not quite working right. Somebody wasn't doing the job they were asked to do.
Bruno
Otherwise,
Fernandes was frustrated the whole game, though. You could see he was frustrated. So something was going on.
Let me tell you this: as a when you're playing football in that kind of position, and you're the magician. You're like, yeah, I'm on the ball all the time. I'm going to get the ball all the time, and I can make little things happen. When you keep getting the ball, but in dead spaces where you've got to work your guts out to try and make just anything out of it, it's so frustrating. You waste your energy in being frustrated. You can't concentrate. You can't focus on what, like you say, this goes back again to a pattern of play. There's no point in giving the best orienteer a race to do and then say, no, it's all right. Just, you're going to have to fucking make your own way around, mate. There's no map. What? Do you know what I mean? I can't do that. And then expect him to come first.
I think Sam identified that. I think once Ronaldo comes in, the standards will improve. He will demand that we play better than we did today. Surely, he's got that influence enough to change things. So it'll be interesting to see over the next coming weeks if we do change our play. None of this ball, we rely on this ball over the top. Bring in the fullbacks, bring in the team, build as a team, play in their half. Let me
ask you a question. I want to ask a question here. This is really going to stump you now. Put Ronaldo in that game today. How does that change what happened today?
I think the standards, like I'm saying the other day, the standards would improve. He will demand better from the players, okay? And he will be pointing, he will be dictating, he will be, and he's a focal point. He'll be a focal point. He will occupy enough defenders and give us a lot more space, and it will be a threat, completely a threat.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. However, we say that, we all understand that. However, with those players that we had out there today in the positions that they were in, I still don't see how it would work because
it would.
Trust me. It would. Trust me. He would be telling Bruno, you're not making that second run. You stay back and you sit back and help provide possession for us, rather than you playing as second striker. I'm sure he should be saying that.
But we shouldn't. This is the problem. And my point is now what I'm about to say was. This is what I was going to get to. Is we shouldn't be at this stage that we're in Ollie's tenure right now in order to have a player to coming in who's then we're going to rely on him to get things to work for us. It's crazy. Ollie he's got to look at this puzzle now from afar, and he's either got to be pushing very hard indeed for a number 6. If he's being told this is not going to happen now until January, he has got to start figuring this puzzle out and giving other players a chance. He can't keep sticking with effing Fred.
Yeah. Guys, if you're watching, like the content, share the content, like the content with the Man United agenda. Also, remember, guys, we are giving you a free Bruno Fernandes signed football shirt. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be doing a live draw on the Man United agenda YouTube channel. Also, make sure you tune in tonight with Ian Blue Moon, who will be hosting our FTB channel tonight at 9 p.m. for the Premier League roundup. So, guys, also, we'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. with Jay Motti from Stratford Paddock also tomorrow. So tune in for that show as well, guys, if you're watching. So let's go to a couple of the comments now before we wrap up. And let's just...
Okay, so here's Sam. Paxton Road saying patterns of play in an attacking sense depends on how much of the game you control in possession. Good point. James more effective on the counter-attack. Big up the panel from Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Shah was at the game today, so he's saying, "Oh yeah, lads, I'd like to hear what Shah's perspective on the game."
With Shah, we're going to probably get Shah onto the Man United agenda tomorrow for about 5 minutes, just to give us his little take about the show before we kickstart what we're going to be discussing tomorrow.
And finally, Sam is saying, not Sam Spurs for life, but Sam, the other Sam. Little Sam, let's call him Little Sam. Little Sam saying the Wolves are struggling to find the back of the net. In all honesty, today, and even against Spurs last game week, they deserved the point.
They did. I'm going to say you have to give them the respect. Wolves has to get the respect because the simple fact of the matter is, on another day, they could have probably got about 3 or 4 passes easily. Because they open us wide. They open us wide all the time. Traoré, the gentleman they got from Real Madrid as well. Destructive. Yeah, destructive. They made us look stupid today.
Can I just say something? I just want to make one point and make it clear. Deserve has got nothing to do with football. You do not deserve anything. You get what you play for in football. You don't deserve a point just because you might have had a decent game. You have to put the ball in the net. It's simple as that. You're not going to give a team an opportunity at the end of the game when you're winning and say, go on then, you've deserved an opportunity, we'll let you have a free kick at the goal. If you get it in, go on. No, don't deserve, never deserve. You have to earn it. All right, Wolves played well, but they didn't deserve anything.
Can I just add, I'm really happy that Jadon Sancho's at the club. Saw a little glimpse today about what he can offer to us. We were talking about James a minute ago, about James not having any creation and just being a bit one-dimensional. But with Sancho, he's the complete opposite. He gives you so many different varieties. He can do what Martial does, and he can go at either side. He's very creative, and he's got good on the ball, good possession. Keeps us retaining the ball. So even though people might say he didn't play well today, we've seen enough to say, okay, once he gets back into the flow of the Premiership, I think he's going to be very effective for us.
He'll be effective. So let's go through some of these last comments now. Mr. B, big up. Hope you're having a good barbecue, mate. Big up. Big up. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, Mr. B. He said we played shite, but we won.
Yeah.
Jordan saying Raul was out of the game. It's Raul Jimenez, striker. Yeah, it's a shame what happened to him. He's wearing a Peter Cech sort of guarded thing now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jem says, Wolves deserve to lose after effing up their chances so bad. And I keep saying Romero. Not Romario. Romeo. How you doing, Romeo?
You sound as bad as me now.
Yeah, sorry. So I'm getting my Romeo. Where the Romeo? He says, pretty under-deserved. They should have scored a lot. Pogba got caught in possession. Fernandes was crying. Wan-Bissaka doesn't get back in time. We were a shambles, and that's coming from a Man United fan.
Yeah.
Thanks for your comment, Romeo.
Raggedy. That's what I said earlier on. We were just totally raggedy. There's no kind of real, like you said, there's no identity in terms of we identified what the opposition are going to do against us. So, we need to, if we figure out what we're going to do in that game, then we can just concentrate on what we're going to do. But in order, you still have to identify what the opposition are going to set up against you. And it looks to me a lot of the time is they're totally disregarding that. And then when it comes to the game, we're like, yeah, wait a minute. What are you doing there? Why have you got three up in the field pressing us? We don't like that. It's crazy. You've got a plan for this kind of stuff.
It is, though. And like you said, there's some good points there. And again, Sam said De Gea and Wan-Bissaka rescued us today, which again doubles.
And Greenwood.
And Greenwood as well. Yeah, Greenwood, you have to say that. I thought today, again, poor Pogba. I know Romeo said he weren't that great, but at the same time, Pogba must have played. In the game, he must have probably played about three balls. And in those 3 balls he played, there were world-class balls he played. But unfortunately, one of them,
offside.
One was offside. And then obviously the one at Bruno Fernandes, I don't know what he was
just
doing.
That. Solo, it wasn't just that for me with Pogba. It was his work rate was fantastic. He was really pushing hard to try and make things happen. He was dropping back because he could see we were getting outnumbered in places. He was dropping back, trying to open space and make space and get the ball and blah, blah, blah.
But sorry, you have to give me this one. We're going to fall out, Romeo. Romeo's saying Maguire needs to be more of a leader. He should be more dominant in the air. I was just about to say Maguire played really well today. Only once he got squared up and they put it through his legs. They went through, but Varane sweeped it up. Otherwise, he was winning all his headers and he was a leader out there because Varane, even though he plays by example, I think Maguire is the captain. He is the leader. He is vocal, and I thought he played really well today. I don't know what game. Well, let's continue to watch. Let's go throughout it. Romeo, I'll give you a bet. Let's watch each game. Let's do a player cam on Maguire based on what you're saying here, being more of a leader and being more dominant in the air. Because for me, that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Can I just shout out somebody? Solo. Can I just shout out?
He's not his dog. Don't worry.
Okay. I just want to shout out Jordan Hyman, LFC there. He's a Liverpool fan, but he's a good mate of mine, Jordan. Good lad. And he's over in Jamaica. I can't remember what part of Jamaica he's in, but he's asking if he can join. But obviously, I think we're going to be wrapping up shortly anyway.
Jordan, talk to talk, and then we'll get you on the channel soon, mate. Just talk to him, and then we'll get you on to the channel. What's this? Fred spoil. Okay, guys, we're gonna if you're watching the contents, please like, please share, please subscribe. We will be giving you away a free Bruno Fernandes signed football shirt. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're doing a live draw. So tune in and make sure you win that signed shirt. Also, remember, tonight at 9 p.m, Ian Blue Moon will be going live tonight with the Premier League Roundup show with him. And then tomorrow night, we will be with Jay Motti from Stratford Paddock as well. So, guys, let's go through the last bits of comments. And remember, just smash that share for the United Agenda. And thanks everyone for all the comments as always, guys. Love.
Little Sam is saying Fred spelled with spaces to allow balls to pass through. Today he calls the thunder again. Yep.
Yes.
Romeo says the only player which active was in attack was Mason Greenwood. We needed a player like Carrick as well. Yeah, I agree with you there, man. That's totally true. Mr. B says Souness cussing Pogba again, but you guys work hard.
Yeah.
And Jordan saying, I'm from Mandeville, Jamaica. Yes. My part of the world.
Yeah. Jordan, I'm born in Limewell St. Anne's, mate. Born Limewell St. Anne's, Jamaica, WI. West Indies. That's it.
And Mr. B says, feed your dogs now. Sorry about that. They were someone was at the door, I think. But anyway, 1 point. So tune in. Yeah, thanks for everyone tuning in. D-Day.
And then also, guys, remember on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, for the first time, FTB Sports will be doing a transfer marathon from 5 p.m. straight through to midnight. Make sure you tune in. You're going to find myself, Solo 7. You're going to find on Monday, you're going to find Mr. B, you're going to find Talk, you're going to find all of us from the United Agenda doing everything FTB on Tuesday from 5 straight on until 12 midnight. Plus, you got the Paxton Road guys will be on it. You got the Armory TV will be on it. You got the guys on Liverpool. You got the Gems FTB. She'll be hosting as well on the channel. You've got to tune in, guys. We're not Sky Sports. We're FTB. But we're going to give you our version of transfer deadline day. So make sure you're tuning in. So,
and I've got a feeling, Solo, that something is going to happen on that day.
Listen, I'm going to come out in my yellow t-shirt. Transfer deadline day. Guys, if you're watching, please smash that like. Jordan, I'll find you on Twitter. I'll add you on Twitter. We'll have a conversation. We'll get you on the Man United Agenda YouTube channel. But remember, guys, without you out there, there wouldn't be a YouTube channel. So all we can do is really appreciate all your support, everyone who's liked, share, and subscribe our content. And Romeo is saying, would you put the link in this? Romeo, we're running up, Romeo. But I think we might need to get on Monday and Romeo on the show together to talk about Maguire. We had Romeo on a few months ago, so we'll probably get Romeo back on. He's knowledgeable.
Romeo knows his stuff for sure, but like,
please, Romeo, don't let your mom tell you anything because she's a Liverpool fan. We don't accept that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So if you're watching, like, share, subscribe. We've been the Man United Agenda, and thank you so much for every single person who has contributed tonight. And Man United,
3 points.
3 points. Wolves, 0 point. And it was a 1-0 win to Manchester United. Mason Greenwood to the rescue once again. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing.